Many people say the revolution took place in South Africa in 1994. It is not true, because once the revolution takes place, the oppressor loses something and the oppressed gains something. So since 1994, the oppressor never lost anything. If anything, the oppressor gained more, and the oppressed have become more oppressed by the oppressor. We are the generation that is going to remove criminals, and we don't theorize about it. We are going to practically do it in 2024, because we are the ones who have been waiting for. 1994 will never have been a revolution, because a revolution means a complete overhaul of the system and replace it with a new system. So when we speak revolution, we mean that capitalism shall be crushed and it will be replaced by socialism. And at times, the revolution does not have to be violent. It has to be through the democratic means, with a willing leadership that will take over power and introduce leftist, socialist perspectives and policies unashamedly, without apologizing to anyone. When the leadership of our country in 1994 had an opportunity to change capitalist policies for left policies, which they pronounced themselves, which Mandela pronounced when he walked out of prison and gave the first address at the hall there in Cape Town. He said, nationalization is the policy of the ANC. When they took over power, they forgot what they said on the eve of 1994. By that, then compromised the revolution. Had we nationalized, then we can say the revolution took place in South Africa. So when we're talking nationalization, people resort to other means of saying you are going to take people's banks. You want to take people's banks. We're not taking anyone's banks. They can have their corrupt banks. We will establish our own state-owned bank, which will compete with the other banks. Now, when you say you want to establish a state-owned bank, they have a problem with that. They say, what's going to happen to the 4 banks? You are going to collapse those 4 banks. It's not true. There is a state-owned hospitals. There is private hospitals. State-owned schools. There is private schools. There is state-owned everything. There is private-owned everything. Therefore, let there be a state-owned bank and let there be private-owned bank. Let the one that provides reasonable rates to our people be the first priority or choice. The youth of South Africa today enjoy and love politics. When they were, before the EFF, they were saying the youth is apathetic, the youth is not interested. Go to the universities. The EFF Student Command leads 80% of universities and TVET's college all over South Africa. Land is everything. When you are born into the land. When you die, you need a piece of land where you will be buried. You need land on birth. You need land on death. That's why land is everything. If you are not going to fight for land, forget it. Land brings pride. Land brings dignity. Land makes people respect you because you own a piece of land. This region that you say they've led a successful land occupation here in KwaZulu-Natal. They've brought a dignity, istima, amongst those people there. There is no water there where the EFF occupied land. There is no electricity. There is no tar road. There is no clinic. Nothing. There is a piece of land. They say, once I've got this, now I know the journey has begun. We want everyone in South Africa, black people in particular, to have a piece of land and stand there firmly and confidently. This is my place. A fighter, a ground force, must be a charitable someone. A charitable someone. Someone who loves people and loves the poor. Start by giving little into the communities. Once you give little into the communities, then we know if he starts giving little, the day he gets more, he will be able to share with all of us, because he demonstrated this when he had nothing. Some of you here, Facebook revolutionaries, I still want someone to educate me. I'm not on Facebook. Why do you take food pictures and put them on Facebook as a ground force, as a coordinator, convener, chairperson, secretary? Put them on Facebook coming from a poverty-stricken community. What must happen now? They will eat it from the Facebook. What do you seek to achieve with that? As we march into the elections, fighters, do not remove other people's posters or leaflets. We do our things in an orderly manner. You want to remove posters, you are bored and you feel like removing posters. Remove the posters of the EFF, because they are not many again. You take them from this street, you go and put them in the next street, and then you take from that street the following day to the other street. By the time the elections come, every street had a 10 of posters of the EFF, because you have some energy. Use it on the posters of the EFF. Leave other people's posters. You must always be clean. Do not campaign with a dirty regalia of the EFF, with a torn regalia of the EFF. To be clean is not to be rich. And don't say, no, they say we must be rich. If you are not rich, who can? No. Be clean. You are not forced at all times to wear regalia if you don't have it. Just wear your clothes like I'm speaking to you now. I'm not wearing regalia, but I'm not less EFF. Because Vuskoza used to wear regalia of EFF. And then what happened? Regalia doesn't mean anything. What matters is your heart. Are you here for real with us? Are you part of the cause for real? So when you don't have regalia, don't feel less EFF to a point where you end up wearing a dirty regalia, a torn apart regalia, because you think that is being EFF. We don't represent backwardness. We don't represent poverty. We represent the future of the wealth in the hands of our people. And by so doing, we're inspiring confidence. Look at O.R. Tambo in the 60s when he went to the exile until he returned. He was a statesman. Even in exile, even under apartheid, under difficult conditions, he said, this is who we are. That's what you must be. So I am here today because I'm coming to fetch you to join a march. And this march is not going to eThekwini, it's not a comrade marathon. This march is not going to Newcastle. We are marching from today, non-stop, to Pretoria. We are going to Union Building. And there's nothing that is going to stop us. No traffic cop will stop us. No police brutality will stop us. No army can stop us. We are marching in unison. We are marching together. We are one thing. We are going to Union Building. We are going to install the flag of the EFF at the Union Building and in all embassies of South Africa, all over the world. They like it or not, the march starts today. Natal, you are invited to Union Building, and do not disappoint. Make it to Union Building. Amandla! Amandla!
I'm a king, yes, I'm a king, I think I'm a king,